The Star Wars era of the NFL is over, and in this new era of football, I am telling you that Bo Nix is elite, and in this video, we're going to break down why Bo has everything that it takes to get us to the playoffs and be an incredibly scary out for any team. If you're new to this channel, I'm Ben. No way I can do a video for 8 minutes with that Vader mask on that was fit for my son, and if you like the Broncos, that helps me out a ton if you would like and subscribe. So one of the things that has driven me absolutely bonkers this year is seeing even doubt inside of Broncos country about Bo Nix and what he can be. And I think we have all of the memories of elite Star Wars numbers that we saw from Patrick Mahomes, that we saw from Herbert several years ago, that we've seen from Josh Allen. And we're seeing like, oh, elite quarterbacks throw for 5, 6, 7 touchdowns a game. Like those Star Wars era in the NFL are long gone, and the rules might change and go back to that where they are, favoring the offense again. But as of right now, we need to compare Bo Nix to other quarterbacks right now and compare him to other elite quarterbacks, and you'll see why I'm so bullish on the Broncos making the playoffs this year. So we are seeing Patrick Mahomes isn't just having a bad year. He's having definitely the worst year of his career, but he's not even in the top 10. He's not in the top 20 of any major statistical category. And really, even like elite quarterbacks, other than Jared Goff, you're not seeing any quarterbacks put up anywhere close to Star Wars type numbers. So we need to stop and pump the brakes when we see Bo Nix not throwing for tons of touchdowns. Nobody's throwing for tons of touchdowns. Show me the quarterback who is just lighting the scoreboard up with more than 3 touchdowns in a game. And we have what it takes in Bo Nix. If we take a look at what is going on with Patrick Mahomes, this is insane to me that, yes, he's 6-0. Congrats, guys. I sound like a sore loser, but I think you're going to get a bounce out of the playoffs quickly if you continue at this pace. I think the Denver Broncos are going to beat you not once, but twice this year. You have not faced a secondary like we have with 2 of the best corners in the league, with a wideout who doesn't scare me. Even when you had healthy wideouts, I wasn't scared. And now you're down to like your 4th string wide receiver. And if you take a look at it, he isn't in the top 20 when it comes to pass rating. He's not in the top 20 when it comes to his number of passing touchdowns. He's 28th when it comes to his touchdown to interception ratio, which is wild. And he is only 15th when it comes to total pass yards. And so truly, Bo Nix has been a better quarterback against better defenses this year than Patrick Mahomes. And Bo Nix is in his first year in Sean Payton's system. We have not come anywhere close to seeing the ceiling for this offense. And that is why I'm so bullish on the Broncos making the playoffs this year. We've probably seen our ceiling on defense. You're not going to get better than a 100-yard touchdown return for Patrick Surtain. You're not going to get better than holding the Saints to 3 points for basically the entire game. So we've seen their ceiling, but we have not seen this offensive ceiling, and that should have you insanely excited. Again, here is laying it out even more clearly. Love this. Respect my co's or cuz. I'm not sure how to say that, but you look at Patrick Mahomes through 6 starts, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and everyone's like, oh, look at him, Jim. He's great, Jim. Look at him throw it with his left hand, and he's the MVP. He's the greatest of all time. He's him. And then Bo Nix has 8 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and people are saying he's a bust, or Sean Payton was foolish to draft him, or he's Ryan Leaf, or anything like that, and I'm sick of it. And I think all of it really does stem from the offseason hate put on this team that like made Broncos country doubt it. Like look and compare Patrick Mahomes to Bo Nix right now, and you'll see that Bo Nix is performing just as well as him. And then even going like CJ Stroud, everyone was talking about how CJ Stroud is him and is like the second coming and is amazing, right? And you look at CJ Stroud today against the Green Bay Packers, and Bo Nix again beat him out in every single statistical category. And Bo Nix played against this defense in training camp and did the same thing to the Packers defense in practice when Matt LaFleur came out and said how disappointed he was and how Bo Nix like owned them. And you can say all you want that was preseason practice, but like that was relevant to me, and I think it should be relevant to us that you're seeing Bo Nix is him. And if he is doing this 6 weeks in to Sean Payton, what is he going to be doing 16 weeks in? What is he going to be doing in the postseason when that entire playbook is unlocked? What's he going to be doing if we go out at this trade deadline and bring in some more targets for him and some more offensive talent around him? And so I just think we need to pump the brakes and continue to believe that the playoffs are in sight. Another thing that I think is a great sign that we are going to make the playoffs is that the train has come all the way off of the tracks. Again, with the Las Vegas Raiders, that they are now in rebuilding mode. And you're just seeing even their content creators are like, hey, they're tweeting pictures of Shedeur Sanders today. They're already calling for their head coach to be fired, saying stuff like, this is the worst team in the entire NFL. We got to get rid of our coach, which means they are now into full rebuild mode. Massive love to Graphic Raider and love him and what he's doing on his channel. Very nice man. But they're even acknowledging there that in Las Vegas, the train is off the tracks. That was going to be a game we had circled and were worried about. And now you're looking at it like they are trying to actively tank. Is Crosby still there when we play them? What else happens? What other business decisions have been made? And so the games on our schedule that are on the road that we were worried about are looking a lot easier. The other one today, obviously, we got to play the Cleveland Browns. And it looks like Deshaun Watson blew out his Achilles today. So we're going to be playing the guy with the rocket arm again, and we already handled them with a much inferior team than we had. We got to play the Bengals. The Bengals beat the Deshaun Watson-less Browns because of a kick return for a touchdown. They barely beat them, and their strength lies in having two amazing wideouts, and I think we match up extremely well on that against the Bengals. So I just think there's a lot of hope in Broncos country. Hearing Sean Payton in the post-game press conference after the Saints, he basically said, hey, we're building and we're figuring all of this out at the same exact time. And I think that is a fantastic thing for us, that we are able to be winning while developing Bo Nix. And that really is the best case scenario that we had wondered going into this. Like, well, is this year about building up Bo Nix or is this year about winning? Well, we're doing both of those things at the same time. And it is best case scenario that we're figuring this out. I trust that Bo Nix is going to continue to take steps, and even the steps that he's making right now, he's better than Patrick Mahomes has been statistically. I know Mahomes gets it done. They are 6-0, and I'm not taking that away from him. Yeah, I am. He's 6-0 with the refs' help. Another good sign that we had is one of the things that worried me about this game against the Panthers is a lot of times what you'll see is like a quarterback switch before a game, which can cause like a crazy upswing of emotion and like a dead cat bounce that you see. So when the Panthers switch from from Bryce Young to the Red Rocket and Andy Dalton, they beat the Raiders, even though the Raiders the week before had beat the Ravens. And so I was worried like, oh, don't go back to Bryce Young next week and we wouldn't have any tape on him, but they are committed to stick with Andy Dalton. I really like how the Broncos match up next week against the Panthers. And then we are talking about being 2 games over 500 and going into Baltimore with the wind at our back, with Bo Nix now as a designed runner. I just think that is a phenomenal thing for us. And I just think the Chiefs are extremely beatable for us. Like, I know that they are now in a 3-game lead in our division, and that's going to be hard to catch. But I just think we match up extremely well against them, and we still get to play them twice. And so weirder things have happened for sure. And looking at how the playoffs shape up right now, obviously they are in a big lead here up at the top because the Colts were able to eke one out against a Tua-less Dolphins. They would knock us out, but we get to play the Colts still. We still get to play the Chargers again. I think the Steelers are going to have a hard time hanging on to this with a ton of tough games coming up. We have a head-to-head with the Ravens, and looking at the teams behind us, none of them should scare us. We have the tiebreaker against the New York Jets. The Dolphins aren't going to be doing anything. We know the Raiders are kind of already tanking on this year, and so we aren't going to be dropping any further than that. If anything, we are climbing up this ladder, and we are going to be a very tough out in the playoffs because we have a quarterback who can run Sean Payton's system, and our defense is elite, and we know what that combination equals because we saw it with Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos several years ago. But the playoffs are coming, and y'all better be ready for it, and that's something we can all believe in. Ball don't lie.